Beauty is often described in terms of being a problem to solve, and that's not what you're going to find in beauty papers.
It's a physical, tangible object that goes beyond selling eyeshadow and challenges beauty norms and leans into beauty, art and culture and plays, provokes, confuses and hopefully amuses. I think the spark was meeting Valerie and our ideas and frustrations in the industry really aligning. I really believe if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. I think particularly for me at that point in my career, I really wanted to explore working on something that was independent, that gave me freedom and choice. It's the idea of the perversion, in a way, of fame and really looking at reimagining who they can be, working with talent that doesn't want to present maybe how they would be presented normally editorially or to their audience. A lot of the covers that we've had that have been massive cut-through moments for us have also come through the lens of, say, a photographer like Bruce Gilden, for example, who's a documentary photographer, where the imagery is very challenging and very provocative, and it's refreshing to see that our audience also leans into the idea that we're not just celebrating celebrity on the cover. It doesn't sell one traditional idea of beauty, it's really about celebrating a rainbow of individuality.
Casper and Gary with the kind of horse's tail coming out of the mouth was incredible. What was another cover? Cate Blanchett, the first one.
Yeah.
With the banana. Amazing moment, really.
But I mean, I do love that Sonal Gupta cover with the leather daddies on the back. Mr. Harry Edward Styles.
In his fishnets, before American Vogue.
All of them. They're all defining moments.
Meeting Maggie Hamlin, which, when we did that first shoot with Harley Weir, which was so magical, and that sounds a bit of a cliche, but it was really a special day. And it sort of began a relationship with Maggie that has developed into us creating our very first product, which was a lash paint inspired by her iconic sort of eyes and the way she wore her mascara, which is great big, thick, cloggy lashes, which is amazing. The product we created was very special. It's sort of, we tried to explore new territories of beauty, sort of change the landscape a bit, redefine what a beauty product could be or should be.
Yeah, and I think what was really interesting about that as a defining moment is that lash paint sat in the cavity of a solid silver sculpture that then went on as 3 art pieces that were exhibited in Art Basel, and I think that was a really big moment for us. And particularly now on this issue, on this 10th birthday issue, we've also launched placebo pills with Jake Chapman, and so it defines the overarching manifesto of the brand, which is the beauty of possibility, so, and the playfulness of it, really. Well, there's a massive frustration with the beauty industry. I don't really see so much change, really.
Culturally, the beauty landscape hasn't changed enough. It's still very prescriptive. It's still very formulaic with how men and women and everybody should look. And that's never a great thing.
The kind of storytelling aspect, which is incredibly important to us, is never compromised by thinking about the machine that is Instagram or TikTok that we have to feed. You can get a short snippet of a behind the scenes or some moving imagery, and that's great, but it never compromises the voice of the storytelling. It's never the first consideration.
When it's a magazine, you may look at it 3-4 times. You'll have the magazine around and you may go back and have another look at it. So that's a whole different relationship, isn't it, with a story. It's too accessible on social media. It's too instant. It's too easy. So therefore, you don't give it the courtesy of enough attention, I would say. And that undermines the whole creation of it, really. It's a real tragedy. Well, we've just taken off all the comments.
Which really, are you allowed to swear on this? No.
Yeah.
Which fucks the algorithm. Yeah, we stayed resistant. I think the opportunity came to us because when we were making beauty papers and obviously collaborating with brands on editorial, I think brands really saw an opportunity because the content that we're creating really cut through. And so a lot of work came to us organically, so it really made sense to form an agency together.
Because I think it's something that we've always done outside of beauty papers and before beauty papers, it was a really natural progression. And I think there's such a lot of tradition still in the way many of the big advertising agencies treat beauty. Because of our perspective, and also because the fact that beauty papers is a kind of a laboratory for ideas, we're always finding new ways or having new approaches and playing with them in the magazine that we can then take and learn from and use when we work with clients.
The glory of that MAC campaign that features in the 10th birthday edition really is in the traditional part of the magazine where traditional advertising usually sits, but all of those ads were created by Beauty Papers BPCC. Working with MAC and having the opportunity to collaborate with Nicola was a brilliant moment because also his mindset was very open to kind of breaking the norm and tradition. And so we were given this opportunity to work with a product that they were launching and create 5 bespoke ads that then went on to be fly posted in New York and London. And then that opened the doors and the opportunity for other brands to also come and be part of that issue. So we also created bespoke ads for Byredo and Dries Van Noten and Roxander.
Well, we live in interesting times, don't we? The world's going crazier each day, and really freedom is becoming a rarer and rarer thing. And I think something that's been very important to beauty papers is exploring that personal freedom of expression. So there's going to be lots for us to talk about and to continue to explore.
Have a pill. I mean, I'm inspired to make change. Now more than ever, visual imagery is vital to cut through and really fight against what we're being fed and told and dictated. So it's not necessarily an individual or a movement in a sense that I'm inspired by, but I think given the political times that we're living in, that is really what has put the fire in my belly to challenge more. What inspires you now, Val?
Nothing and everything.